Hello, today we are going to be talking about literal equations. So over the last couple of lessons, we've been solving multi-step equations. And in our multi-step equations, we've talked about how they've had just one variable, and that variable can be on either one side of the equal sign or on two sides of the equal sign. They can have one solution, two solutions, no solutions, multiple solutions, but today what we're going to talk about are literal equations. So literal equations are equations that have multiple variables. So they either have two or more variables within the equation. So literal equations, they have two or more variables. So literal equations have two or more variables. And our job is to rewrite the equation or solve for just one variable. Okay, so they have two or more variables, but we solve for just one. All right, so literal equations have two or more variables, and we solve for one variable. So literal equations, two variables, solve for one. All right, so what does this look like and what does this actually mean? So let's take a look at an example. So if I had example A. Example A says 2y, so 2 times y, plus 5x equals 6. And it says to solve for y. So our job would be to solve this equation only for y, even though it has both variables y and x. Our job would be to see what y stands for. So the way that we would solve this equation would be to follow all of the steps that we have done before by isolating the variable. So we're going to isolate the variable, and the variable that we want to isolate is y. That is our goal. Our goal here in this one is to isolate for y. So this means that our goal is to isolate y. Okay, so that is our goal, is to isolate y. Oops, sorry, it's off the screen. So our goal is to isolate y. So let's go ahead and start solving for y. So we're going to draw our balance line just like we normally would. We're going to start by removing things. We can remove 5x from this side and then remove 5x from this side. So we're going to move it. Move 5x, that gives us 0, and we're going to move 5x. So now I'm going to rewrite this problem, and it says that I have 2y, that canceled, is equal to 6 minus 5x. 6, oh my gosh, my 6 looks awful. Minus 5x. Okay, so I have removed the 5x. It's now on this side. The equation is remaining balanced. I'm almost done. I've almost solved for y, but I have a 2 stuck to the y. So now I'm going to solve by dividing. So now I'm going to use some division. So I'm going to divide by 2. So divide by 2, that gives me 1y, and I'm going to divide by 2. Now, once I've divided by 2, so I put the 2 here, I've divided this whole entire thing by 2. I'm going to rewrite this in a simplified form. So now I need to simplify this down. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. And I have negative 5 over 2. Because 5 over 2, 5 cannot be divided by 2. It's still a fraction, x. So I've simplified this down. And this is my literal equation. So x is still here. It is, I know. But it's a simplified version of what was up here. I now have y equaling 3 minus 5 over 2 x. This is y. Okay, let's take a look at another problem. Let's take a look at another problem here. Another example. Okay, this example B. Example B also says to solve for y, and it says negative 2x minus 3y equals 6. And again, we want to solve for y. Okay, so again, we're solving for y. There we go. Now you can see it. So again, our goal here is to isolate everything so that we can have y all by itself. So we're going to start by drawing our balance line. And we're going to remove everything that we can actually remove. So we have negative 2x. Opposite to zero it out is adding 2x. This is going to zero out. Over here, I'm going to add 2x to this side. So now, left over on this side, I have negative 3y is equal to 6 plus 2x. All right, so I've added the 2y. I've moved it from one side to the other. I'm almost done moving things around. I just need to divide now because right now this is multiplying. So I'm going to divide by negative 3, divide all of this by negative 3. This gives me y equals 6 divided by negative 3 gives me negative 2. And this gives me 2 over negative 3, so plus, I can say negative 2 over 3. X. Or I could just get rid of this and I could put negative 2x. Usually when we write this, we write it so that the letter is first in front of the number. So really we would want to write this like this. Y equals negative 2 over 3x minus 2. This is just the correct way to write the math problem. You want to write with the variable in the front before you have the constant. That's just the right way to do it. So just a quick switch there. If you didn't get that right, that's totally fine. Not a big deal. Just make the quick switch. If you had it this way, that's fine as well. Just make the quick switch so that the variable goes in the front. Okay, let's go ahead and do a try it now. I'm going to turn my page so that we have room for the try-its because, again, these problems are so long. Literal equations. So they are literally long and take up all of the pages. Okay, so let's look at our examples and let's do some triads here. All right, the triads that we have for you today. Okay, triad number 1. Again, so we're going to be solving for y. And when we get to graphing, you will see why when we move forward and get to graphing, you'll see why we're always solving for y. Okay, so always solving for y, there's a reason why we want y. So we want to solve for y. Okay, so solve for y. Triad number 1 says 5y minus x equals 10. Okay, and then let's do this triad over here, and it says 12 equals 6x plus 3y. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me solving these. And then when you are ready, go ahead and hit play. All right. So again, we want to solve for y. So I need to remove everything that's not a y. So my first step is going to be to add x, so that cancels that. I'm going to add x. So now I have 10 plus x is equal to 5y. So I also now can divide by 5, and I'm going to divide by 5 on this side. This tells me that y is equal to 10 divided by 5, which gives me 2, and plus x over 5. Ooh, that's going to end up being a reciprocal problem. Okay, so y equals 2 plus x over 5. Now we're looking at number 2. So check, how did you do on this problem? Okay, this one, again, we want to solve so that we are moving everything over. That's not a y. So we have a positive 6x. We need to remove 6x. Again, that zeroes out. Remove 6x. So now I have 12 minus 6x equals 3y. I'm going to divide by 3 and divide by 3. And this gives me 1y, and y is equal to, okay, so I have 6x, so that's 2. So 6 divided by 3 is 2x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I have 4 minus 2x equals y. Or you can rewrite this so that you have y equals negative 2x plus 4. Your choice how you want to rewrite it. Either one of these will work. You choose how you want to write your equations. All right. Okay, go ahead and answer your essential question. Our essential question was, how do we solve literal equations? So how do we solve literal equations? And then put your rating out to the side in a box. How are you feeling about literal equations? 1, I'm really confused about solving equations in general. I'm just still really struggling, and I need some extra support. 2, I'm getting the hang of it. Now there's another letter, and so I just have to keep reminding myself to just keep doing the opposite and moving the letter with it. 3, I'm doing okay. That extra letter doesn't scare me one little bit. So go ahead and put your reading out to the side. And then when you are done, you can either, one, head to the Google Meet and ask for help, or you may head on over and do your practice work. Thank you so much for all of your hard work today. And if you need anything, just let me know. Have an awesome day. Thanks. Make it a great day.